Y'all, you probably think the Toronto Blue Jays are done celebrating that heartbreaking World Series Game 7 loss, but hold up. Blue Jays just made the John Schneider decision official, and MLB is watching closely. We're talking about the manager who took us to the brink of glory, one strike away from ending that 32-year championship drought. This ain't your average Blue Jays news today. It's the move that signals where this franchise is headed after that brutal Dodgers defeat. Stick around, because I'm breaking down why Schneider's future just got locked in. Before we dive deeper into this bombshell, do me a favor. If you bleed blue and white and you've been riding this emotional roller coaster with the Jays all season long, smash that like button right now. Drop a comment telling me where you're repping Jays Nation from, whether it's the 6IX, Vancouver, or anywhere across Canada. And hit subscribe so you never miss another update on your Toronto Blue Jays. Let's show the baseball world that we've got the most passionate fan base in the game. Now let's talk about what just went down earlier today. The Toronto Blue Jays officially exercised their club option on manager John Schneider's contract for the 2026 season. According to Ben Nicholson-Smith from Sportsnet, this was the expected move. But hearing it become official hits different after what we just went through in that World Series. Game 7 against the Dodgers, folks, a brutal 5-4 loss that had us all thinking what could have been. We were right there, so close to bringing the Commissioner's Trophy back to Canada for the first time since Joe Carter's legendary walk-off in 1993. But here's the thing that's got everyone talking. This isn't just about bringing Schneider back for one more year. The Blue Jays are actively negotiating a long-term extension with him. That's right, a long-term deal. This tells you everything you need to know about how the front office views the job Schneider did this season. Think about it. He took a team that was supposed to be in a competitive AL East battle and turned them into World Series contenders. He guided this squad through a grueling 162-game season, navigated the playoffs, won the franchise's first ALCS since 1993, and took the Dodgers to the absolute limit in the Fall Classic. Let me put some context on Schneider's tenure here in Toronto. Since taking over as the full-time manager following the 2022 season, he's compiled a 303-257 record with a 541 winning percentage over 4 seasons, including his interim stint. That's not just respectable, that's legitimately impressive in today's game, where managerial tenures are getting shorter and shorter. The man knows how to win, and more importantly, he knows how to get the most out of this roster. Now here's where things get really interesting for Blue Jays Nation. The future is looking ridiculously bright, and that's exactly why the organization wants to lock Schneider in for the long haul. Let's start with the elephant in the room, or should I say, the superstar at first base. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just signed a blockbuster 14-year, $500 million contract. Yeah, you heard that right. Vladdy is locked in through his prime years, and Schneider gets to build around one of the most dangerous hitters in baseball for over a decade. That's the kind of cornerstone piece that championship teams are built around. But wait, there's more. The Blue Jays just discovered an absolute gem in Trey Yesavage. This kid made his MLB debut in September and immediately looked like he belonged on the biggest stage in baseball. We're talking about a young arm who went toe-to-toe with some of the best hitters in the game during the playoffs and didn't blink. That's the kind of ice-cold mentality you need from your starting rotation, and Yesavage showed he's got it in spades. Schneider now has a potential ace for years to come, someone who could anchor this rotation alongside the other pieces. Speaking of the rotation, Shane Bieber just opted into his one-year, $16 million contract. This is massive for Toronto's pitching plans heading into next season. Bieber brings veteran leadership and proven postseason experience to a staff that's going to be looking for redemption after falling just short this year. Having him back gives Schneider flexibility and depth that most teams in the AL East would kill for. The starting rotation is settled, folks, and that's not something you can say about many teams right now. Now let's address the Bo Bichette situation, because I know it's on everyone's mind. The shortstop is the one major piece from this World Series run who's not currently locked up long-term. But according to the reports, the Blue Jays are going to make a serious push to bring him back this offseason. Can you imagine this core staying together? Vladdy, Bo, and all the supporting pieces that got us to Game 7? That's the recipe for sustained success, not just a one-year wonder. Schneider knows what he has with Bichette, and keeping that left side of the infield intact should be priority number one this winter. Here's what a lot of casual fans might not realize. The hitting core is mostly intact heading into next season. Yeah, we might see some tweaks around the edges, but the foundation that carried us through October is coming back. That means Schneider doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. He's got proven players who know his system, understand their roles, and more importantly, have tasted success together. There's something to be said for continuity in this game, especially after you've been to the mountaintop and fell just short. But let me hit you with the reality check that makes this Schneider extension negotiations so critical. Yes, we lost Game 7. Yes, it hurts like hell. But think about what this team accomplished this season. We won the American League Championship Series for the first time in over 3 decades. We beat some of the best teams in baseball to get there. The Yankees, the Orioles, whoever stood in our way, Schneider had this squad ready to battle. That's the mark of an elite manager, someone who can navigate the pressure cooker that is playoff baseball and keep his team focused on the task at hand. The AL East is only getting tougher, folks. The Yankees are always going to spend money. The Rays are always going to be scrappy and competitive. The Orioles are young and hungry. The Red Sox are trying to get back to their winning ways. This division doesn't give you any nights off, and Schneider has proven he can manage through that grind. He knows how to balance his pitching staff over 162 games. He knows when to push the right buttons in tight situations. And most importantly, he's earned the respect of that clubhouse, which is worth its weight in gold. Now, here's where I want you to really think about this. The Blue Jays aren't just running it back with the same formula. They're building something sustainable. Ross Atkins and the front office are making moves that signal championship windows, not just one-year pushes. Locking in Vladdy long-term was statement number 1. Keeping Schneider and negotiating an extension is statement number 2. Everything that happens this offseason, from potential trades to free agent signings, is going to be done with the mindset of we were 1 game away, let's finish the job. I keep thinking about that Game 7 loss to the Dodgers, and yeah, it stings. But you know what? Great managers learn from those moments. Schneider is going to take everything he learned from that World Series, the good and the bad, and come back stronger. That's what the elite ones do. They don't let defeat define them. They use it as fuel. And with the pieces he's going to have at his disposal next season, there's no reason to think the Blue Jays can't make another deep run. Here's my bold prediction for you. This long-term extension gets done before spring training. The Blue Jays aren't going to mess around with uncertainty heading into a season where expectations are going to be sky high. Schneider deserves the security of knowing the organization has his back, and the players deserve to know their field general is going to be leading them for years to come. It's a win-win situation that brings stability to a franchise that's on the cusp of something special. So, what does all this mean for Blue Jays Nation? It means we've got a manager who's proven he can win at the highest level. It means we've got a front office committed to keeping the core together. It means we've got a superstar in Vladdy locked up for over a decade. It means we've got emerging young talent like Yesavage ready to take the next step. And it means we've got a real shot at bringing that World Series championship back to Toronto where it belongs. Listen, I know the offseason is long. I know we're all going to be replaying that Game 7 inches our heads until pitchers and catchers report. But this news about Schneider should give you hope. It should get you excited about what's coming next. Because the Blue Jays aren't treating this past season as the peak, they're treating it as the foundation for sustained excellence. And that's exactly the mentality you need if you want to compete for championships year after year. All right, Blue Jays Nation, that's the breakdown on the John Schneider situation. But I want to hear from you. Do you think Schneider is the right manager to finally bring a championship back to Toronto? What moves do you want to see the front office make this offseason to get us over that final hump? And most importantly, how confident are you that we can run it back and finish the job next season? Drop all your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, because we're going to be covering every single move this team makes as we gear up for another run at glory. Let's go Blue Jays!